6:30 on a Thursday night, and you are tuned into Beltway Radio and Beyond, which can mean one and only thing. I got it for you.
There it is.
This is Chip Chat. Welcome to Chip Chat, everybody. I'm Chip. Who are you, Tez?
You just told him.
All right. Hey, how you feeling? Okay, there, buddy?
Yeah, I've been better, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. We're here.
Rough
Thursday
week.
night. It has been a rough week.
Not just because of.
It's been hot too.
Yeah, it's a million degrees outside.
It's the hottest it's ever been on Earth.
It's true, and I bet you tomorrow.
It'll be hotter.
Yeah, a little bit.
And next week, this will be the coolest week that it's ever been.
That's
on Earth.
right. I think the heat is making people touchy, but also making people touchy. I think we're gonna have to invade Panama again.
Oh God.
Yeah, they beat us in soccer. That's it.
God.
We need to topple their government. We've done it, 4 or 5 times?
Yeah, I would say it's not. I mean,
that's a very American way of dealing with our losses in sports.
It's a pastime. It's almost like baseball.
There's a bit of that going on this week, too. There was the All-Star game.
All right.
The NL won.
NL won, and also...
For the first time in a decade.
10 years, and also the game was good. Mm-hmm. I was very surprised.
The pitching was superb, which is
always going to be. But also the way, because also I guess baseball is kind of set up this way now, where strategy of bringing in multiple relievers is already what folks.
It's sort of built into the game now because everybody's watching the pitch counts and all that stuff and the saber.
Like wasn't someone prior to the All-Star game going for a no-hitter and they pulled him and they had a combined no-hitter.
There was a combined three-pitcher no-no.
Yeah.
Yeah, last week, which I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
No, it never, because again, some old school manager would have been like, why would we? First of all, some old school pitcher would have strangled somebody.
I would have.
Before you could
if I was no hit through 5 and you pulled me,
fight like you're breaking everything in the clubhouse.
Quit.
Everything in the clubhouse is broken.
And drive my Maserati away.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, there's absolutely no way. And that's the thing. Like Dusty never would have done that. You know, there's a few of these guys left.
Yeah.
But
the guys who don't follow analytics, they're not doing it.
Right.
There's a few.
But the thing that did make the All-Star game kind of fun, I think, is one of the new rules that, of course, we helped Dan Formosa write into his book.
Yes.
Which is banning the shift.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that has made baseball in general.
There's a lot of shots directly where someone would have been standing. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because that's where you're supposed to hit them where they ain't.
Yeah.
If there is one thing in the rule change that has made baseball miles better, it's banning the shift.
That and the larger bases for the
has made more aggressive base running.
Yeah,
that is way more fun too. You were right. You predicted.
I was like, this feels almost like when the home run became the big thing after the strike. Yeah. And it was like, oh, everybody's in. Like people have been talking about baseball. I mean, the betting helps as well too, which is crazy because the best hitter of all time isn't in the league because.
Betting on baseball,
and now
not even on his own team.
And now DraftKings is all over the place.
And now it's sponsored by DraftKings.
So,
and Pete Rose is still signing baseballs in Las Vegas of all places.
And Manfred said no. He said no again. So,
abolish Manfred.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's terrible.
Pete Rose, let Charlie Hustle back into baseball.
Yes.
Or get rid of these damn sponsorships. That's just
it's crazy. But I found I forgot the specific place I was going with that now because I'm upset that,
we're all upset.
But I found the game to be very interesting and exciting. I think the home run derby has been amazing.
The home run derby was great.
Since the rule changes there have been
It's
great.
all about the time and planning, and it's
so great. Shout out to your Orioles.
Former Orioles great Vladdy Guerrero Senior got to watch current Blue Jays great Vladdy Guerrero Jr.
But also too, just your what you guys have four All-Stars? I think?
Yeah, we had 4 All-Stars.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And Rutschman and
Batista. That man is insane.
He's insane. There's part of a reason we were so far above 500
right
now.
Yeah, he's insane. That bullpen is incredible.
Our 789 is very strong. It's really good.
It's incredible. So no, I had a lot of fun watching that. But the rule changes I remember the point I was going to make. The rule changes have made baseball again. It feels exciting in the summer. More folks are talking about it, and I think that ties into again people moving.
You know what?
People like to see people moving.
What's disappointing is that I looked it up today that the average attendance at Camden is not even 50%.
That's going to change in a couple. That's going to change in a couple weeks when you guys start making a run.
We're doing well.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, this is going to change.
We still can't put 40,000 people in a stadium.
It's hot.
It's going to get hotter.
Well, yeah, I mean it's hot.
I don't know if you've been listening to our show, but it's going to get hotter. There's this guy called Tez, and he's always yelling about how it's going to get hotter.
Yeah, I've been yelling for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Dead-ass birds. All right, anyway, so we got a fun show.
Look at these dead-ass birds.
We do have some guests tonight.
So, yes, we do.
The Pseudoscientists are here.
Yes.
Now, they're getting their experiments all set up, so they're gonna join us in a little while, but...
I got sad. Is that a U Street Music Hall shirt?
Yes.
Oh, God,
yes,
that made
is.
me real sad, because now it's a fucking hookah bar.
We're going to have to... we will ask Sam about his shirt. It's just like, calm down.
Damn it.
You're jumping the gun.
Sorry.
But we're going to let everybody know that you're going to hear something different than what you usually hear on this show.
Thank God.
Well, no, it's still going to be us yelling about the news.
Yeah. Oh, duh.
But
Rats.
it's going to also involve, like, live synthesizer music.
There we go.
It's going to be cool. I don't know what to call it exactly.
Well, no,
we're gonna ask
we'll
them
just...
about it.
Let's just wait and digest it as it happens.
That's right. And you have a book,
It's the same book I've been reading for a while.
Secret Life of Groceries.
It's very, man.
Is this the bit about how you know, like, the prices based on how high or low they are?
Yes, exactly. But just also how this is like a big, like, almost feels like a cartel between, like, these companies.
It is very much.
And, like, how you get placed
Paying
in
for
the...
shelf space.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You think that the store buys the products and then sells them to you. That is not how that works.
Sometimes they're getting all this product for free.
They're getting paid on both sides of the
it's insane.
Yeah, Frito-Lay's paying them to put the Doritos here, and then Giant is also selling the Doritos.
Yeah, you get free, very interesting book. And also, too, just how the invention of, like, cardboard, and then, like, I forgot his name, it's like Robert something, but he in Brooklyn figures out how to make foldable cardboard.
Yeah.
And his first customer is Nabisco.
Yeah,
So Nabisco
right,
is one of the clients,
They can box up the stuff, and then they can ship it home.
His son sits there and looks and's like, yo, you guys are buying all these boxes to put your cookies in, but you need a name. They take that literal, and that's how you need a biscuit.
Dynamite.
Insane. And they're like, I got it.
You need a biscuit.
You need a biscuit. Goes on to sell like 100 million boxes.
There you go.
It's insane.
All right. So anyway, there's going to be some weird stuff that you're going to hear. Also, we're going to be talking Turkey, Tuberville, and Trump.
Oh,
that?
God. Turkey. That's a lot of T's. The triple T right there.
Triple T.
Oh, my God.
I'm proud of myself for writing that.
Yeah, that's really good. That's a good one.
Talking Turkey.
Which one is,
joke.
Who's the worst one out of that?
I don't know.
Right?
Turkey's pretty good at the shakedown. I
Yeah,
feel like
they're pretty good at that.
They come out looking pretty good on this whole thing.
Tuberville.
Yeah,
why do they try to make his name sound more like Tuberville? Have you hear folks saying that every now and then?
Because that's how it's spelled.
I guess, but
he's Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Also, you want him to be fatter than he is based on his name.
Yeah, he's not.
But he's not. He's a very slight individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, disappointing. All right, maybe there'll be some other stuff. You never really know what's going to happen on the show.
Yeah, I didn't. I read through this one time.
Yeah.
I don't even have a test talk.
As they say on Twitter, it's going to be wild. You can say that on Twitter again.
I bet I was on Facebook.
Are you on Twitter anymore?
I mean, man, oh, God, I should make the test. I don't know enough, but Blue Sky is having like an implosion this today.
We're kind of watching this in real time.
It's kind of crazy.
That poor Danny G. German. She's never going to get out from under this.
Yeah.
Don't write that hashtag name down.
What are people thinking?
I'll show you later.
I mean, but I'm just in general. I don't know. It's a revolt over there. As soon as I got over there, but kudos to the community for being like, "Yo, f this."
Yeah,
we're about to fuck some shit up.
All right, so let's talk about that then when it gets to TES Talk, because you can.
I can try.
You can try.
I can try as much as I know.
By then. Okay, so
I'll refresh my feed.
Yeah, right.
There's only like 400,000 people on it.
Do you have right? And 3 of them are us. All right. Do you have a word?
Yeah, I got a word.
All right, let me think of a good word that will go with whatever your word is, now that I know what your word is. Which you don't know that I know what it is, but I think I know what it is.
You think? Yeah, you're probably close.
No, I don't know. We'll find out. All right, so we're going to take a break. We'll come back with the whole show, because that was the longest intro we've done in a long time.
Oh, wow, it's 15 minutes. Insane.
All right. All right, so sit back, grab some
biscuits.
It's puppy time. You're listening to the best show, the only show, Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's popping up?
All right, so now we've come to a recurring segment on this show. It's called Indictment Updates.
Hey.
All right, so Dateline, Atlanta. What's her name? Fonnie Willis?
Yes.
Yeah,
Fonnie
the
Willis.
DA.
Yes.
She's Fulton County. She has impaneled 2 grand juries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it's so many crimes, you need 2 of them.
That's kind of insane, actually.
It is actually quite insane. She's impaneled 2. One, which is likely to decide about the charges against Trump, and the other one, don't know, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why she needs 2. But you may remember, of course, that the former guy tried to sway the elected officials in Georgia to find him 11.
Sway is such a nice word. Extortion.
Extort, threaten them into giving him 11,781 votes that he didn't get.
Not that many.
That's all he needed. That's all he knew, the exact number, too.
Insane.
But there was voter fraud, and we can't count all of them, but somehow he knew the number.
No, because, of course, he knows what it is to win.
Right. So he did that, and then it was on tape, and everybody saw him do it, and then he was like, yeah, I did that, and, like, I'm entitled to my votes. And it's like, that's not how anything works, but all right. And so Fonnie Willis spent the last year, you might think, oh, well, she already had a grand jury. What was she doing with another grand jury? That was a special grand jury. That was just about, like, gathering the evidence, right? And now
she's a regular grand jury.
Now it's a regular grand jury.
Oh, why a special? I'd be upset if I was on the regular grand jury.
No,
that one is going to be the one.
Both of them seem like fun.
Yeah, I mean special though.
You know, the special one got to be like, "Yo, give us your documents," and then they'd be like, "No," and they're like, "We're going to send the marshals," and then they'd be like, "Okay,
yeah, whatever."
You know, and then like that's cool, that's fun, and plus you get to learn all the stuff
ahead of time and go out. And that one lady that went out.
And then the one lady was like, I don't know.
I think something's going to happen.
Yeah. So she started off looking for, like, you know, the bit where he threatened the governor and the secretary of state. But then it turned into, like, all this other stuff about, like, attacking people for voting and counting ballots and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. So the thing that I thought was kind of interesting about this story was they've got to, like, pick the jury pool, right?
Right.
And also, the story made a point of how much of the work for this is being done remotely, and that the people involved are trying to not, like, be known.
Well, yeah, I mean, we know that there's a raft of anybody who comes out against 45. And, yeah, this isn't like your normal grand jury. I mean, they're looking to indict the former president of the United States.
Yeah, but
or put in jail.
He has a cult that's, like, violently willing to
30% of the country. That's a decent amount.
It's a decent amount. And
Zealots.
There was a story today in the paper about how the actual successful prosecution and detention, prison sentences of some of these oath keepers and various other people is actively keeping a lid on the amount of political violence that would otherwise be unleashed.
Yeah, no, I mean, because these were organized groups, and like as we know, it's hard. I mean, eventually someone will rise to the top.
But apparently, the reporters
start to organize again, but that's not happening at this point.
Not yet. But the reporters were able to ask enough of these people who candidly told them, if I didn't think I was going to get caught and thrown in jail for 20 years, I would have blown up X government building. And they're like, they're out there waiting for the signal to go, the bad signal.
It's in 2024.
Right, they're waiting for him to win. And if Cornel West helps him win it,
Christ, man,
that's what we're going to end up with.
God, yeah, no, it's
he's going to shine that greasy Kentucky fried smeared napkin over the sky. That's the Trump signal.
Yeah.
And then they're all going to see it, or imagine they saw it. Who knows?
That's
and then they're just going to do things.
Yeah, I don't.
And they while deriding the court system as being illegitimate and not real, while in the dock in court,
insane. Doesn't even make sense.
They're also actively worried about the system successfully prosecuting them and putting them in jail. So either they think that the system is legitimate or at least effective, or what? I don't really know. But anyway, Fonnie Willis is up to stuff.
Look, I mean, so far they got an equal mix of men and women, and based on some of the professions that were disclosed, we have the group and panel included a homemaker, a human resources manager, a teacher, and an investigator, quote unquote.
Quote unquote investigator. We're also investigators.
Yeah, great ones.
I got called for jury duty.
Yeah,
It hasn't happened yet.
Oh, it hasn't happened. I
have my notice. Yeah, you don't think I'm going to get picked. Well, they don't know about the show.
Yeah.
Because almost nobody listens to it.
But, exactly.
But, let's hope they don't.
The 3 people who are on it. Today we got 5 people listening.
Yeah, that's right. 2 extra people are here in the room. That's how that works. All right, speaking of the former guy, remember Steve Bannon?
Double shirt.
Yeah,
big double
triple
shirt. Triple shirt sometimes.
Yeah, often triple.
Like
triple
most people
shirts.
wear undershirt.
Like there it is. He's wearing 2 shirts there.
That looks like an undershirt.
No, look
is
again.
It? Oh God,
he's got 2 collars. Look to your right.
You're right. Yeah.
Of his chin, you'll see 2 collars.
God, yeah.
And then the undershirt.
Yeah, sick.
That's weird.
Sick.
That should alone be enough to put him in jail. Why are you doing this?
Perfect photo.
Why is he doing this?
Double shirts, man. That's it.
Like, all right, let's just put to rest all the stuff about like he's going to jail. He was convicted for fraud.
Yeah.
And then the Orange Menace pardoned him. But let's put aside the bit where he was captured by the Postal Service on a Chinese yacht
on the water
in the Long Island Sound. We're going to put that aside. We're going to put aside the fact that he was actively involved in overthrowing the United States government or attempting to overthrow the United States government on January 6th and organizing all of that stuff live on his radio show. Yeah. Don't trust people with radio shows. Yeah. We're going to put all of that aside. The true crime for which Steve Bannon should rot in prison is this business with the 2 shirts.
Yeah, I'm with it. Yeah,
it makes no fucking sense.
How do you put on 2 shirts?
How does that become your thing?
2 button-ups, too.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of shirt. Oh, God.
Brian's got stuff.
Yes, this just in from Burger King Brazil.
Uh-oh.
God, we used what type of breaking news is this?
Yes.
It's a food. The cheese Whopper, right? Because that was in
Oh, no. Well, it is a Whopper.
Okay.
A huge Whopper. In honor of the upcoming Barbie movie.
Yes.
Burger King Brazil has debuted a Whopper with, kid you not, with some pink sauce.
In a pink bun?
No pink bun, but there is a pink sauce in their Whopper.
It's called Russian dressing. Everything's pink Russian. I mean, come on.
Oh, but no, I know that's what color pink?
It is. It pretty much it's Barbie pink.
Barbie pink.
Barbie pink.
Why? Russian dressing isn't Barbie pink.
No, it's not.
Right, that's
like
what I'm saying. Kaopeptate is what that is.
Why?
Disgusting.
Why?
Shit, wait, that is disgusting.
Hold on, intrepid reporter Brian. I'm a big fan of the Whopper.
Oh, it's great.
As a matter of fact, when my family got off the boat, they said, "Welcome to America, home of the Whopper." That's true.
Okay.
I'm not making that up. No, the timeline doesn't work. I am making that up. But the Whopper is an iconic American sandwich.
Nathan's hot dog or something.
It was Ellis. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
It was probably not welcome.
It's like, God damn it.
What are you doing here?
They're here.
There's more of you?
God, that is what happened.
What's a knish? And can you make 1 million of them because we're going to adopt it as our food forever in New York? Thank you. No. So they're like, "Welcome to America, home of the Whopper." I love the Whopper. I have consumed hundreds of Whoppers in my life. Where are they putting the sauce that I would even observe it? Because the sandwich is closed.
Right. So, okay. So here's what it is stated in the photos. I haven't got a photo yet. We'll probably have that next week just to verify. It is, like I said, it is a Barbie pink, bright pink sauce, which is layered on top of the cheddar cheese. So if you order it with cheese, it'll be right on top of it. That's disgusting. It will consist, it's stated as being a smoky pink sauce with crispy diced bacon garnish.
I mean, I'm all
Of
for
course,
bacon
the bacon
and sauce,
is where
but,
they try to get people.
Do you know the
There it
cheese? I know the construction of the Whopper. I have studied this.
Aficionado over here.
Yeah, well, because I grew up a Roy Rogers person.
Great.
Screw Mr. Bannon right now.
And so, who cares about Bannon?
Yeah, well, anyways.
If
He's
you're,
bad, he's going to jail.
If you're a Roy's guy, you're used to building your burger.
Yeah.
And if you go to Fuddruckers, then you have even more opportunities to do this. So you pay a lot of attention to burger engineering because you want all the stuff to stay put, right? There's an art to this. So
Can't
after
have it
years,
leaning.
yeah, or sliding.
No, that's the
or
worst.
dripping.
Yeah.
No. So I have studied the Whopper like for a long time because it is a well-constructed burger.
Agreed.
The burger, the cheese, then there's all the salad on top. There's the lettuce and the tomatoes and all of that stuff. And depending on what you get, it would cover the sauce. You're never going to see this sauce. This is a failure of food science.
They're an Oppenheimer.
Stand by.
There are several great food engineering.
This is what it looks like.
Yeah, but that's just for the picture.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
Where's the that's not a Whopper.
Well, that's, like I said, this is Burger
in
King
Brazil.
Brazil.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the pickles and tomatoes and the lettuce and the onions and all the things.
It's in the pink sauce.
Oh, it's all blended up.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
makes sense. Well, in that case, order me 6. You'll eat it.
No way in hell.
No way?
No way in hell I'm eating that.
What if it tastes great?
The pink is going to throw me off. I'm like, this is someone who loves pink, but not in food.
It's a good color.
It's a great color. Not in food.
Not in food? Depends what you call food.
That's fair.
I mean, I'm not saying.
I'm telling you, we need Oppenheimer now. Like, these two movies, these two movies are going to bring back. Like, this is going to be what was the last Tom Cruise one last year?
The Mission Impossible?
Well, that brought everybody
Top
back.
Gun?
Yeah, that brought everybody back to the theater. This is going to be, these two here are going to be the ones that
I think
they're going to
we
be big
need
numbers.
to worry that the Brazilian food scientists are ahead of us. There is a Whopper gap. Where is Ike? When you need him to increase the military-industrial complex that he'll then rail against. We need the burger-industrial complex to respond. Yeah. The Brazilians are out ahead of us. They've got pink Whoppers.
We need a moonshot.
There was a rumor mill about a Blue Beetle Whopper, but that was fake.
I mean, we had the Black Bun Whoppers. We had the Halloween Whopper.
Yeah, the Ghost Whopper.
Yeah, that's really good. Except it makes you poop green.
Okay. Second week in a row. We went to sophomore poop jokes.
Speaking of which, Steve Bannon.
Are we still doing this story? See me. Segue. Keep interrupting.
So Bannon, he got busted and then he got pardoned by Trump. But what he didn't get pardoned from is the state. So New York State judge has ordered Bannon to fork over $500,000 in unpaid fees to the law firm that represented him when he was busy trying to stay out of jail, which he ultimately was convicted of.
Right.
So he's like, I'm not going to pay this lawyer. He sucks. He got me convicted. It's like, well, no, all the crimes you did got you convicted, idiot. But he was like, no, this lawyer sucks, and I'm just going to not pay him. Come after me, whatever. And the lawyer's like, all right. So he went to court. And he got a judgment.
Yeah, and like you can see in these like text messages they have or signal messages, which I thought Signal was end-to-end encrypted. How are they getting the Signal messages?
Because one of them still
said, "Oh yeah," I'm like, "Good, great." Oh yeah, no one subpoenaed this. They just have given this up.
You got to remember, like nothing is encrypted if one of the
party
two people
gives it up,
is just giving it out.
And now I'm looking at this. I'm like, "Yo, they're just the other party is just saying, here you go, look at my phone."
That's like this guy said
he's
all
like,
this shit.
Yeah, and he's not giving my money.
Right.
Yeah.
I saved all of it.
He said, "I'm live on air. What's up?"
Yeah.
Okay. What? Like.
We're live on air. Steve Bannon, you want to call us? What's the number, Brian? 301
761 1040.
There you go. Steve Bannon loves the 1040. I bet he'll call us.
Yeah, there it is, of course.
Yeah. All right, so I like this one too. Very must talk. Very important, but bad news. That's a great text message to get from your lawyer.
High level signal messages right here. At least he waited till like 10:40.
I like this one too. The Manhattan District Attorney just called me to let you know they would not tell me what the charges are. But, 9 days later, he was charged.
Wire fraud.
Yeah. And, again, I'm okay with Bannon defrauding the Trumpistas. Like, that's fine. You should do that.
No, because then they're going to, this is the issue with this. They get defrauded by Bannon. Then they say, I don't have any money. And then they have these grievances when it's really with these individuals who give it to them.
They already have misplaced fake grievances.
That's fair.
They're just making shit up.
That's fair.
All the damn minorities took my spot in college. Like 93% white, dude. It did not. No.
It's only for
You're
black
just
folks,
not smart enough.
Only 13% of us can't be taking
in the whole country.
Yeah, we can't be taking all the spots.
No, it's just not possible.
Math.
That's how you know the
there
white
we go.
people aren't that
Exactly.
smart, because they're bad at that level of math. That they go, oh, my 93% I didn't get in because of the 13% who displaced me. And then the college admission officer is like, you just made 120%.
And then, see, this is so American to take also our Asian brothers and sisters and pit us against one another.
That's the whole plan. You heard that story on NPR tonight, too. It's an insane story.
And I was just like, okay, yeah. So,
which side of that fight is Tiger Woods on?
Oh, God. Oh, gracious. I mean,
he drives a Genesis. That's a Korean car. I think I know which choice he's made.
Yeah,
Just saying.
well, look. I had a terrible joke that I'm not saying. I'm going to keep going because I love Tiger.
Okay.
So as an actual.
I made a golf joke.
I
should
make
get something for that.
You did make a golf joke.
It's not even my thing.
I was going to say, Tiger plays golf. He's on the white side.
Yeah. Seems obvious.
It's neither one. It's neither.
Whole, like, Chappelle show skit about it.
Exactly.
All right. I wonder, are our guests ready to provide the break music for our break that we want to take here? They appear to be.
Sheesh, I feel bad, like, asking for free labor during all these strikes and whatnot.
We're giving them exposure.
Exactly, because
musicians love that word.
That's the new currency, right?
Yeah.
Because you could spend that.
if you use the word exposure to musicians, you better be talking about hypothermia.
Right, exactly.
All right, so are our guests ready? Yes. Okay, we are going to take a break. You are listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's popping out?
All right, so that sound that you just heard during the break, that was not a recording. That was live.
Yeah.
That happened live. The Pseudoscientists are here
They
in
are
studio.
here, live in studio.
And we're going to post little pictures and videos and stuff, but we're hopefully going to be able to keep them going through the show. And then we're going to talk to them in a little bit.
Yeah.
But they are live, looping, mixing, synthesizing our show. So we're going
Much
to play off
appreciated,
them,
yeah.
and they're going to play off of us.
Yeah.
We've done this a couple of other ways, but
Yeah,
we had the live bartender.
That was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was very cool. We got
Luscious like ourselves.
we got Distilled to come in and live mixology the show,
Yeah.
which was very cool. And her show, where she does all these whiskey reviews and
Yeah.
stuff, it's dynamite stuff. So we'll link to that. Go check her out on Instagram and wherever you get your podcasts and all that stuff. Okay. So we're back to the show. So if you hear like weird sounds and stuff and music underneath
Vibe
of
with
us,
it.
yeah, just kind of hang out. Yeah. That's cool. All right. Now we've come to the part of the show called The Rundown. This is where I tell you about some stuff that's going on in the news. If we were professionals, it would sound like...
From Beltway Radio and Beyond in Washington, D.C., I'm J. Scott Smith. And this is the part of the hour where I tell you some stuff that's going on in the news.
He's got a job on TV now.
Yes, I know.
He's jumped.
He is jumped.
He's better looking than us.
And also, too, shout out to him for giving my blue sky.
He got you your blue sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's also got the the $1 million smile and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So that's why he's on TV and we're
not
here.
on radio.
Yeah. All
We're
right.
on a TV.
We are on. Yeah, we're on.
On our own TV.
Right. We can watch ourselves at home on YouTube. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that count as like is that like separate fans outside of like it's different when we watch at home?
I know every time I check the show because the views go up by 1. Not like that time I made Priest and Nomad's music video super famous.
Oh God. Anyways, moving on.
All right. So now
Perfect.
on the show, this segment is called "Is Anybody Shocked?"
Yeah. Come on. At this point,
All right. So
the only thing I'm shocked is ProPublica didn't do this.
yeah,
The only reason. The only thing
Right.
I'm shocked about.
and also I
They're
found
probably
out,
giving it away to people now. They're like, hey,
they're like, we've got so many leads on this. One of y'all run this down.
Yeah, please. So it
They're a
doesn't.
consortium anyway, right?
Yeah,
so some
exactly.
of their people might work
But
for Guardian.
Exactly. So.
All right. So anyway, the Guardian's got this report, but a bunch of other people do too. Several lawyers who had business before the Supreme Court,
Give it to me.
including one who successfully argued the end of race-conscious admissions at university,
Give it to me.
paid money to a top aide to neighbor Clarence, according to the aide's Venmo transactions. Payments appear to have been made in connection with Thomas's 2019 Christmas party. So just like Matt Gaetz paid for underage sex on Venmo, allegedly.
Please be careful.
Allegedly. What's he going to do? Sue me?
No.
According to him, I have freedom of speech. Literally unfettered freedom of
Yeah,
speech.
it's true.
Matt Gaetz is a child molester. You heard it here first. Or probably not.
No, not here first.
No, you heard it from his Venmo account. All right, so these guys keep like recording as they do nefarious shit, right? The payments to Rajan Vasisht, who served as Thomas's aide, there's some affirmative action, I'm quite sure of it.
Yeah, of course.
From July 19th to July
It'd
21.
be very surprising if it's not.
Seems to underscore the close ties between Thomas, who is embroiled in ethics scandals following a series of revelations, shout out ProPublica, about his relationship with a wealthy billionaire donor and certain senior Washington lawyers who argue cases and have business in front of him and the court. Are you shocked?
Not at all. I mean,
Shocked?
What?
exactly.
What?
Exactly. No, not shocked at all. The
What
Republic.
would shocked sound like on a synth flute? You should hear the sound of shock.
I mean, you got to give people better time. Yeah.
Well, while you're
As I'm
explaining
saying,
how unshocked you are.
That's about right. Clarence Thomas, I think, is probably one of the more interesting Americans of all time.
Careful with that word.
Interesting.
No, that's not the word I was saying.
Oh,
Be careful with.
Americans.
He doesn't want to be.
Yeah, he definitely wants to live in a different place. The Republican nominees to this court have made this an illegitimate court.
Yes.
It's like, I mean, from Bush and his pick of Roberts.
He just lied. They all lied. They get in front of the thing and they go, I'm not going to overturn that. And then the second they get the chance, they do it. And you go, wait a minute, does that mean you perjured yourself? And they go, well, I couldn't predict the future.
Lawyers.
Because they're lying.
Lying lawyers.
Because you're lying.
That's a good one. No, Clarence Thomas, Joe Anderson is doing his slow burn season currently is on Clarence Thomas. He's just a real, like, they talk about how when he makes this switch, and he starts being in like these conservative law firms, and
because he was like a Black Panther and stuff.
Might as well be. Like, he's in Holy Cross and stuff. Yeah, it's very crazy. He's there. But he's colored by like his grandfather and like Black folks' view of government assistance.
Yes,
and it's complicated
which is not unreasonable.
It's not unreasonable.
It always comes with strings attached and all.
Yeah, but there's a flip here, and I thought I again encourage everybody to go listen. Joe Anderson does a great job with these slow burns, but this one is really good. And there's a point where like someone who knows Clarence says, "Oh, I remember when he took Malcolm X off his wall and put a picture of a Rolls Royce." And I think that sums up because I don't think Clarence Thomas has a real like an infinity so much for white people. I don't think he does. I think he thinks white people as well as Black people. I think he thinks both of them. He cares less about either.
I think he's willing to use either one to get what he feels he is owed.
Yeah.
Which he somehow couches in this weird version of reparations, for lack of a better word. Like, Clarence Thomas thinks that because he was discriminated against for being Black in America, he is owed literally anything he can take with his two hands.
Yeah, and I mean, he also, as we see at least I see with a lot of Black folk, even if they don't believe this, I think he personally does believe this, but I think you could also look at it to be like, yo, we're going to carve out a lane and make a shit ton of money. I could go on, I know enough, I could go on and just have I could be a fake person, don't put me on video, and have like a conservative viewpoint on this.
Definitely do.
And I guarantee you, it would be insane.
Yeah, you could be Candace Owens.
It would be insane. The sponsor money, all that, I could literally retire.
Yeah.
The only thing probably
without ever having to believe it. You could just say as long as you say it. Because the right wing is so desperate for Black validation of their racism that if they can find anybody, Supreme Court justice or otherwise, willing to say it. Yeah, we talked about that. I know people who have made that flip and felt the love wash over them, and they were so captured by that they just continued on.
I mean, you know what? This Clarence Thomas, you know what it does? It gives your people and my people, like, we had, yours is Stephen Miller, and we got Clarence Thomas. It's crazy.
We don't just have Miller. We have.
Well, I mean, you got a few of them, but
Kushner,
like Kushner. I mean, but I'm just saying, like Stephen Miller.
$2 billion from the Saudis.
Yes,
you know what they do with their other billions? Shoot at our people.
Abraham Accords, baby.
Right.
But I mean, like, it's kind of crazy. Like, you have these, your own folks who see the lane and they're like, all right, I'm gonna run with it. But I find Clarence Thomas is a very interesting individual. He's also corrupt. And
fuck.
And it's going to continue happening.
The lawyers who made Venmo transactions were Patrick Strawbridge. It's a great lawyer name.
It's so good.
At Kosovoy McCarthy, who recently successfully argued the affirmative action case. There's Kate Todd, who serves as White House Deputy
remember
Counsel.
The affirmative action case violates the Constitution. Remember how it violates it. The 14th Amendment.
Yeah.
That is so American that our good white brothers and sisters out there, and Sumner and Thaddeus Season.
Discriminated against.
Yo, they come out with this. They're like, all right, slavery's over. We got to make some shit up because like these white folks in the South, we got to have some laws. We got to change the document. It doesn't happen that much. 27 times?
Yeah, and
it doesn't happen.
And the first 10 were originally planned.
Planned, exactly.
So that doesn't even count. So it's 17. And some of those, 2 of them were undoing each other. Prohibition, unprohibition.
Prohibition, all right, take those out.
18 and 21, so take those out. So now
Cheers.
you're down to 15.
15.
One of those is
15,
women
great
can
amendment.
vote.
It's like,
Speaking of which,
right? Yeah, one of
okay, women can vote. That seems like an obvious one.
half the population.
Yeah, and like, so now you're down to 14, and some of those are procedural nonsense.
The three that matter that make this country a
Direct
democracy.
election of senators
Yes.
instead of appointments. The ending the more than 2 terms.
Yep.
And like how the president is or the vice president is configured.
Yeah.
That's it. So now you're down to 12
Yeah, that's a great. I've never. Yeah, if you break it down,
that matter.
That matter. And there are only 3 that matter to make this a democracy.
Yeah.
13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, to initially start that process.
Well,
not
in 21.
To,
Let's give 21 back.
And 21,
because,
yeah.
because restoring alcohol to this country is critical to democracy.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Come on, who votes sober?
Yes, and not to discount, like, again, women's right to vote on that as well too. That also it
seems obvious.
Seems obvious, but
It's 19, isn't it?
19. Yeah, it's a 19. So those are the ones. But like to start off democracy, it's 13, 14, 15.
Like there's prohibition, women vote, and prohibition.
Yeah. After
If
that.
nobody sees the correlation there,
Yeah.
come on.
Right.
If you don't thank the women of this country every
Right.
day that you crack a beer.
Exactly. That's real shit.
It's 100%.
But again, yeah, to use the 14th Amendment to be it's almost like it's one of the biggest like spitting in the faces of that I've seen in this country to use that and also I'm not naive. I know this is a amendment made for the corporation in this country because the corporation is a person. But again, these are amendments made to help. All this colorblind shit that Roberts likes to talk about is insane. These amendments, and especially if you're an originalist, they are made in a time when people were like, hey, yo, I think we got to kind of focus on the people that we just freed.
If you're an originalist, you look at the prohibition on quartering British troops in your house.
Yeah.
The 7th Amendment says you don't have to quarter troops in your house. This is a very unlikely thing to have happen, but this is one of those affirmative actions that the founders took to fix, to repair, to install reparations for something that happened to them already in the past that probably won't ever happen to them again, but just to make absolutely sure and protect against it.
Yeah. If it happened once, it can happen again.
The creation of the jury system, the right to cross-examine, the right to counsel that comes from that, those understandings are all reactionary amendments to things that they were prohibited from having during the time of the colonies. So why, on God's green earth, would an originalist look at something like the 14th Amendment, which is a reactionary amendment to fix the problems of the past, much like all of the other first 10, and go, that's not what they meant. What they meant is that white kids should get to go to fucking Harvard, God damn it.
It's crazy. It's insane.
There's only 93% of them.
It's insane.
Have you ever been to a place as white as Harvard?
Never.
Never. And you worked in an Apple store.
Yeah, no, that's more diverse than a lot of places. Shit. Thank God, like that, the Apple store made me more comfortable with things that folks now seem to be trying to, like, they're afraid of. It was a diverse-ass place. Harvard? No.
No.
Not.
No. No, not. That's true.
Damn
Okay.
it. Yo, what? Anyways, I'm angry.
Speaking of funds, here's a bit of good news.
Yes, this is great. Oh, yeah. Let's put on our marketplace hats.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna do the Kai Rizdal thing where we talk about how smart Jay Powell is. Jay Powell might know what he's doing. He might know what he's doing. I'm not saying we don't know. We say this probably every few weeks. We say this guy might know what he's doing. He might know what he's doing.
And I know a lot of y'all out there hate the economists, and we know that the businesses are raising prices or raising prices to like fleece us. And I get that piece, but when it comes down to like you have to run an economy,
inflation is falling. And specifically the rate of increase of inflation.
Last year was 9%.
Is slowing down. Yeah, so we're down to 3 and change.
Yeah.
And if you do the bit where you take the energy and the food out, which, whatever. So like it's not that inflation isn't still happening.
Oh, it is.
but it is happening slower, and we're still making more jobs.
200,000. Oh, we were completely off last week.
We were way off. We got 380 something.
Damn you, ADP.
Yeah, ADP lied.
They
You know
lied.
who got laid off last week? Everybody worked at ADP. Yeah. They lied. 500,000 jobs. Fucking liars. But what is happening is fundamentally confusing to economists because this has never happened before. We're growing jobs. We're bringing inflation back down. There's no recession. There's no negative growth.
Even though you guys have tried to bring on a recession for 18 months.
Yeah,
18
we're
months.
in a recession.
Media's been
not
trying to. And I'm like, wait, no. When job numbers come in at 350,000 plus, even 200,
and revise up the previous month. Every month we get the numbers. They revise up the previous month too. So it's not like it's good.
No, yeah,
and we saw wages increase versus inflation this month.
Was that 40 years maybe something crazy?
So
like it hasn't. That's
like it's actual gain.
Yeah.
Now it's just 1 month, and we'll wait and see. But
yeah, of course, yes.
But I keep saying it. It's possible Jay Powell knows what he's doing.
I think and I heard this today. I think we could bring back the T word. And this might have been transitory. Now, granted, this was long as hell.
Longer term than people
think. And again, it hurt. I get it. Like it wasn't like 3 months. But in a large economy.
When economists say transitory, they might be like fudging the time frames a little bit. People are a little, but like when they're looking at the fundamentals and they go, this doesn't make sense. What is happening here are a number of specific environmental problems.
The supply chains have evened out.
Supply chains.
Port of LA or whatever that's coming in doesn't have a 2 days wait to come in.
Long Beach port, the avian flu knocks off a bunch of birds. Like,
Ukraine, I know we don't talk about
the
it
war
anymore,
in Ukraine. Go blue. I'm beating you to it, Brian. Like the whole
just
thing
sink into it.
is they were all like a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah. We even survived it. Let me not say that because we don't know because the banks will have numbers tomorrow. But we survived. Like, banks collapsed a few months ago.
They managed that too.
Had happened.
The strength of the financial system post 2008, the creation of the CFPB, the increased regulations, albeit that got stripped a bit by Trump, seem to have shifted the way people think about the economy. Importantly, the policy regulators in the Fed have shifted how they think about the economy.
Right.
Little credit to Yellen on that.
Yeah, a lot of credit to her. A lot of credit to her. We just got back from China.
Maybe the way we understand economics is not the only way to understand it. And we are watching in real time.
Like 2 things can be true at the same time. It's kind of weird with this.
That Jay Powell and Austin Goolsbee and some of these guys might
Raphael
know
Bostic,
a little more about what they're doing than we thought.
No,
I know this is not exciting radio.
This is the worst.
Nobody loves radio that name checks economists.
Exactly. People are turning off.
But
Brian, you still listening?
That the world is still turning is probably fairly important.
Also, too, look at some of these other economies. Look at England. I mean, look at Germany. Like they're not. This isn't happening everywhere.
Right. Well, Brexit, self-inflicted.
Yes.
And the war on your doorstep is bad news. But like the managing of China. Again, a little bit of credit here to the Fed policy folks. I mean, I really don't want to say they got it right yet.
Because anything could happen.
Because anything could happen, and we are not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination.
And they're going to beat this shit down to 2% whether we like it or not.
That's the number.
Eventually jobs will be lost.
Because the orthodoxy says it's got to be that.
Exactly.
But they might shift that.
I don't think so. No. I mean,
they've already shifted a lot.
But no, there's going to be 2 increases this year. They haven't shifted anything.
But they stopped the increases for a while. And
it's
they
not
kept up the increases while jobs continued to grow. This is not how it's supposed to work.
It's not. But again, they're going to give 2 this year. They're not. They're still going to play by the rules that Volcker and those guys
We are trying very
40,
hard
50
to get
ago.
Mollywood to call us to come be on that show.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
But we are big fans.
Yeah.
Everybody at 8 p.m., we're big fans. So or Planet Money too on NPR. Like both of us. Just call us. We want to be on the show. We want to be the pretend economist.
Mollywood left. She left to go.
She got her own thing.
Yeah, and to do climate.
Yeah.
She does,
I got her on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she still knows some people.
exactly.
So anyway, all right, here's what we're going to do. We are going to stop talking about economics.
Yeah, and something interesting now.
And we're going to take a break, which is going to feature our guests.
Yes.
After that break, we're going to interview our guests.
Yes.
And ask them things while they play music or not, whatever they want to do, because, they're the creative people and we're just fake radio hosts.
Yeah, fake radio hosts. That's exactly what's going on.
Does it sound right?
All right.
Do you sound ready?
Do you sound...
I'm adopting that. I love that.
Do you sound ready?
Do you sound ready?
This
is very confusing sentence.
Word salad. Do you sound ready?
Do you sound ready?
Who are you talking to? Are you talking to yourself?
Maybe.
It's like an internal thought that you're saying out loud.
Could be.
Do you sound ready?
Do you sound ready?
Yeah,
I
do.
Okay,
all right. That means to keep moving on. Yeah, all right.
We're going to take a break. You're listening to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
Go Blue.
All right, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's popping? I wanted to hear what that was going to end.
Yeah,
that was ending and
that
going.
was some
That's
wild
was
stuff,
go somewhere.
man. That was our guest, the Pseudoscientists.
Yes,
and that was all live. They did all of that,
all live,
like with a bunch of gizmos and stuff.
a bunch of gizmos.
If you're watching,
We'll have them come on and explain.
To see all the gizmos.
Yes.
But we're about to make them come sit down and talk with no gizmos. Just with their mouths.
I mean, that's probably the biggest gizmo we all have, right?
Yeah. I suppose. Well, if you're Biz Marquee, you can make the music with your mouth.
True. That is true.
There's rules. There's rules to this.
That is true.
All right. So, Pseudoscientists. Julian and Sam, you're collectively the pseudoscientists. I think that's the right word, right? You make music using your giant brains. Recently, you did a very cool show where you played at the DC War Memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And they've been performing live throughout this show, which is very cool. And
Yes, thank you.
Welcome back to Chip Chat.
Yes, thanks for having us.
All right. So, I don't really know exactly what to call this thing that you're doing, right? It's not DJing, but you're using a bunch of equipment to make music.
Yeah, so these are what's called modular synthesizers. Basically, so if you see the big black keyboard there, that's a normal synthesizer. With modular, you can basically, you have what's called modules, and you can build your own synthesizer, whatever you want it to do. It can be an effects rack. It can be... I've seen people's racks where they have their effects, 6 keyboards, and a drum machine all built into one crate. But it's, so basically it's whatever you want it to be, it can be. So it doesn't matter what. Normally you buy something out of the store and it's whatever it is when you get it. If you don't like it, you can pop pieces out and put new pieces in.
So did you have to solder a bunch of stuff into your keyboard?
Not yet, but I actually am learning how to do electronics, so I can do that, yeah.
Okay, and Sam, what's all this other weird stuff you got?
So I have a bunch of miniature modular stuff. So it's not full size. It's not meant to be full size modular. It's basically budget modular. And so a lot of companies that kind of make these different little synthesizers that do different things. So one synthesizer I have just generates melodic patterns, and you can kind of change it from there. There's one that kind of just generates its own sounds. You kind of never know what it's going to create.
Oh, wow. So you just switch it on and whatever comes out, comes out.
Yes, and sometimes you might create a sound and you might never hear that again.
I've had it happen.
Yeah.
It's a snowflake.
Yes,
yeah.
it's basically a
Musical
musical
snowflake.
Careful
So
with that word.
Oh,
these days.
that's like
and
woke.
then,
yes, we make music for the snowflakes.
and then we have a sampler that lets us take different vocal samples and things like that, and then play it with the music.
So when you say it's a mini modular, it's like that it's solid state and small as opposed to tubes and
So
big.
basically, with a regular modular, it uses a normal size cord. This one uses wires, so little tiny wires. It's almost like a kid's electronics kit that you used to have, and you just plug the wires into the different parts, and it will generate different sounds. And you can
So the
radically
smaller
change it.
wires means it's more susceptible to interference and stuff like that, or means it's can use lower current, or what's
uses
the
a lower current, so it's not true modular. But true modular is very expensive, and so I wanted to get it on a budget. So I bought these different.
Define true modular for us versus what you're doing.
So true modular is basically what's known as the Eurorack system, and so it's basically a number of different modules that sort of plug into each other, and they connect different cords that are known as patching. So depending on how you plug in the cords, it changes the patch.
And what I think is really interesting, like you were asking before about chips and wires and stuff, like a lot of stuff is basically computers running software, whereas in the old days computers were, microchips and wires going in transistors, diodes, and
Right.
like basic electronics. So at that level, now, because it's actually funny, because of the chip shortages and all of that, they started going more towards software. But before, especially when things first started, it'd be like, think about when they were launching like the Apollo rockets, and you see those huge computers.
Yeah.
And so it's that same technology, and a lot of it's the same thing, where it's like basically electrons going through wires, and it can calculate a number in that same box. You plug it into like a speaker, and then it'll make a sound.
Just signals being sent, right? At the end of the day.
So
right?
do you have to actually know how this is happening inside the little boxes to use them, or do you just need to know what comes out and then manipulate the sound?
Either or. So it can be
either way.
So you can just, like, I remember sometimes little kids will run by and they'll just start grabbing knobs. And one of the reasons we use these is because it's really immediate. Like, I've been doing music for years. I used a computer for a long time, but using a mouse is boring.
Yes.
So you're twisting knobs, you're playing keys. So it's happening because a lot of times you're trying to set like Pro Tools or Ableton or whatever up,
So
and
I
then
don't
you
have to
forgot
know
your
how
idea.
this works. I just have to know if I twist this knob, it makes this sound.
But if you do know how it works, then so a lot of what these get used in, because a keyboard is going to be better for like making pop music and classical and performing and certain stuff like that. But this is for sound design, when you're not trying to sound like a piano and trying to play like classic jazz or that kind of thing. You're trying to get out there, float, and just be free.
Okay.
Yep.
That
Float and be free is
I feel like that
keys to life
that
right there.
explained a lot. Yeah, just like that. Thank
With
you,
your
Julian.
electrons.
Yeah,
With
you
your
gotta keep your electrons floating free.
There you go. Put that on a T-shirt.
You hear
There
that,
you go.
Elon?
Sales, get that on our T-shirts.
Right.
Sales department over there.
Get that white girl wearing that shirt.
Yeah. That was the old network.
We haven't had
We
don't have that kind of marketing
We don't have
budget.
that time. Our marketing budget is dried up.
All right, so tell us about the modular collectives and what these groups that put on the show that you were part of. What are they all about? What is all this?
A bunch of nerds that like modular synthesizers.
Yeah,
That sounds
that's
dope.
very clear.
We love that.
It's basically a bunch of hobbyists, people who have normal everyday jobs like everyone else. It's just their hobby is they have what's known as gear acquisition syndrome, or GAS, which is unstoppable need to acquire more and more gear, which I think is a lot of different industries, but especially in the music industry and especially in modular, because there's always something new you can add, always something new you can learn, and it's sort of, it's like people have ham radio conventions. It's just a bunch of people get together, they talk shop, they share different ideas.
Yeah, a really good hobby. You meet a lot of really interesting people. Like a lot of times I go to some places and you meet a lot of interesting people. A lot of times I'll go places and one or two people, you don't meet anybody, but here you feel like you can just walk up and talk to anybody, and you all have like some common bond. And I find the more niche whatever somebody's hobby gets, if it's cars, fine, but when you get into the Studebaker crowd or like the lowrider crowd or whatever.
Oh, you fuck with that too?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah. Like everybody smokes cigarettes, but the cigar community
yes,
is
It's a very specific bond.
Yeah. Because it's like, everybody thinks we're dorks, so let's come over here.
Is there like a big divide between like the Roland and the Moog guys or something? Or are you guys like friends?
I think everybody just uses whatever they can get access
Right.
to.
Okay,
I
I'm just curious.
I mean, Moogs are very expensive for a lot of people. Roland is sort of more affordable, I think.
That, and once again, it's with modular, it's not about like one piece of gear. So that's the thing. You're buying stuff, you're switching stuff out. Frankly, a drug habit would be cheaper.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Clearly,
No,
looks
yeah,
like
hands down. When did, I guess it's a question for both of you guys.
Yeah.
When did you guys realized y'all wanted to make music. And
the
then
last time you were here, you weren't doing this.
No. Yeah, we've
You
been
were doing really different stuff.
Yeah,
That was like 2.5 years ago
Yes.
or whatever.
Well, we've known each other 8 years now, and
at least.
yeah, and a friend introduced us, and we just kind of hit it off from the very beginning, and we've just been making music. I started as a guitar player.
Yeah.
Julian's been a producer for a long time, and electronic musician, cigar box maker, artist. We just kind of have similar viewpoints about art and music, and just kind of gel from there.
But how did you move from, because your last project was, I don't, for lack of a better word, a bit more conventional.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
I
fair.
think
That's fair.
is fair. And now you're here with a bunch of boxes and wires and things that go boop, 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 boop.
Yes.
And that's a very different thing. So how did you move from that more conventional music making to this?
I think part of it's just the pandemic. I bought my first bit of modular synthesizer during the pandemic. We just kind of slowly built gear up from there, and then I don't know, was it you or me who found out about this event at Rhizome in Tacoma Park called Modular Meetup?
And we were like, oh, that's cool, because we're, if you're a musician, you're always looking for something to make your life easier or, more fun or a different way of
where
doing
in
it.
Tacoma Park did you guys meet up?
So it's this place called Rhizome. It's on what is that? Maple Avenue on
It's right by the CVS.
Yeah, it's
Because I'm
it's
familiar
sort
with
of-
the area.
How
I'm trying to
far
think-
is it from the dangerous parking lot of Tacoma Junction?
It's
Oh,
pretty
God.
far, actually.
Yeah, it's farther from that, 'cause
It's
that's
closer
downtown.
to the metro.
Yeah.
And what it is it's sort of the last, standing house that hasn't been, destroyed or gentrified or turned into something else.
but it's on schedule.
Yeah,
'cause,
it's on schedule.
Right. We don't know when it's coming
It's
down.
gonna happen.
Yeah,
I feel you.
The developers are going to eat it too.
But it's one of the few, community spaces that's kind of left where people can kind of just show up and do what you want.
That's dope.
There's all kinds of shows there.
There's art, there's electronics, there's this. I've seen puppet making, stuff for kids,
Art shows.
all kinds of experimental music, art. There's gallery shows all the time. I saw something with it could be across the board. There's something called shibori, where it's basically Japanese tie-dye. So you get this wide range of artistic.
Yeah, the stuff they do with the kimonos, where they put it in a barrel and they twist it around and all that.
Yeah.
And then there's more conventional stuff, more songwriters type things, like live bands. There's even an event they do called Death Cafe, where people talk about sort of their experience with death and things like that.
Oh, wow.
It's very
It's very Tacoma Park.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
It's very Tacoma Park. I
If you're
love
not
it.
from DC.
I love that.
Tacoma Park is like Berkeley but leftist.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I'll give you that. That's funny as shit. It's really
So
good.
the People's Republic of Tacoma Park actually does have a nuclear weapons ban,
Shout out to
which is important.
shout out to Jamie Raskin, who was the Tacoma Park Grand Marshal for the
Yeah,
Park.
and turned down the Senate run
Yeah.
because he thinks that his
Re-election.
job in the House is more important. Also, shout out the Tacoma Torch.
Oh yes, I was
definitely read
telling
their stuff.
folks about
Oh, I
Tacoma
love
Porch.
them.
On
Eric's a big friend of the show. His baseball team, the Arlington Mallards, just won their game, so they're going to the semifinals.
I'm all for free speech, but they had an RFK Jr. float in the Tacoma Park for 4th of July.
Yep.
The booze that rang down on that shit,
Hey.
that was crazy.
NIMBY should have gone over there.
NIMBY
and
was in
smashed
it.
Yeah,
NIMBY was in
there.
it.
No,
NIMBY
I
was
know.
in the damn parade.
Yeah, I know.
I was late. I was like, oh.
NIMBY's there.
Yeah.
But NIMBY should have gone and smashed that float.
Should have, yeah.
Yeah.
They made sure they were separated by a decent amount
Good
of feet.
idea.
And the police.
All right, so you did this sort of live thing at the DC War Memorial, which is the last time I was there was the middle of the winter, and I did a wedding there, and it was negative 20 degrees. It was unbelievably cold this winter. Shout out climate change and dead ass birds and all that other stuff. But
Cold War wedding.
yeah, what were you doing? That's funny. what were you doing there in the desperately in need of upkeep marble pagoda gazebo, whatever you want to call it, of the DC War Memorial?
What were we doing? So basically, Modular on the Mall is a concert. I don't know how they picked that particular place, probably because it was easy to
It was
get.
available.
Yeah, and also has really good sound for that. I was really surprised. You get some really interesting acoustics off it, and so they once again you have this community. So they were like, at first, so we had applied and we weren't. They were like, oh, we're full. But then before that, I had played. Sam wasn't around, so I had played a show for both of us. And then I guess they remember that, and they were like, okay, so we'll give you a slot. And then we ended up, and it was us and, 4 or 5 other people?
4 other people, yeah.
Yeah, and it had been a show before, and I think there's going to be a break, and then there's going to be, the next show is in September. But, sort of showcasing, just bringing the community out to the people. So, a lot of people from, the modular community came out, but then you also had people, a lot of our friends came out, and a lot of people just that were ambiently in the area stop by and,
And they hear the sound, and they kind of amble over and be like, yo, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, come and hang out.
Yeah, all the tourists.
Can I twist some of those knobs?
You guys mentioned sound, and you also have a U Street Music Hall shirt on. And
yes.
I say that is one of the venues I thought had the best sound I'd ever heard.
I fully agree.
Some people like to say it's Flash, but I don't think Flash has the same. Flash is not. I think it's.
Currently, Pie Shop has good sound.
But that goes down to venues.
Current,
venues.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think U Street. Would that be your favorite play? For listening and consuming music, in any audio in that form. Would that be the place for you guys?
Oh, absolutely. I really miss that place, and I'm really sad we lost it to the pandemic and the fact that Congress didn't do anything to save them,
right?
Which they should have done. That was a place that I would go to all the time. I'd love that you could go there on a Wednesday night and they just have some random DJ, and you could hear a new sound that you'd never heard before, and you could just dance on a Wednesday and it was fine. Or you could go on a weekend and see a big name, and sure, it'd be full of people, but you'd see all kinds of cool people. We've seen Madlib there.
Yes.
I saw Theo Parrish once, which was a great show. The beautiful
Madlib
swimmer.
killed that show. That's the one I remember.
Yeah, it was
but
great.
Do you remember where he forgot his lyrics halfway
Yes,
through?
see
I
that
was
part.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, he did forget.
I was so pissed. I was
I
like,
watched
really,
Nas do
dude?
that too as well.
Yeah.
So people be
Happens to the best. Yeah.
Well, it happens to the most smoked out.
Yeah, I was
I was
gonna
like,
say
you could
that.
at least, can I get something? No, apparently not.
He could have just brought notes.
Oh God, no.
What?
You're
Bring
better
your
off
notebook.
forgetting it. You're better off forgetting it in the moment.
Teleprompter.
What?
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here.
What? I heard the orange guy loves the teleprompter. You remember watching him try to read that thing?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's
his worst. Him at his worst.
Yeah, the exit. The entrance. He can't.
What is it?
Entrance and exit. We love them both.
Oh,
good God.
All right, so you did the show live out there, and then you were doing this live, and what's the sort of interaction between the audience and you as a musician? How does that feel versus if you're just sort of in the studio making music?
Well, there's an audience there, so, that matters. And you can sort of adjust. Do you want them to dance to bring the tempo up? You want them to chill out? You bring the tempo down, And then you can have something to react to as opposed to,
That's what I mean. It's sort of does it become a two-way street, right? The audience is part of they're giving you feedback, you're delivering for them, you see how they react. Does that change the way you play? Does it give you something?
I think eventually it will. So this is what you saw was the first time for us performing like this. So
wow.
Wait, tonight?
No.
At the War Memorial.
Yeah. That was the first time I had done one other show by myself, and then I had performed before because I'd been with Gru. That was actually Sam's first time performing live. So
really?
Yes, it was correct.
Out of all this time?
Yes, I know.
That seems really unlikely.
Well, when you see just one thing when you're working with folks, it's like some people have stage fright, just trying to get people to commit to a show, and it's I was ready to go, but it's like, oh well, I'm not there.
He came on this show.
Yeah.
You didn't have any stage fright then. 'Cause
Low
you didn't have to worry
expectations on
nobody
this
was
motherfucking
watching.
show. Jesus Christ, low ass expectation. No,
Oh,
exactly.
I came to music through art. I went to art school and was a fine artist. Still am, but I was probably more active doing art shows than I was doing music shows.
But it still involves being out and talking to people.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so. All right, so that was your first live show together.
Yep.
And you have another one coming up in September.
That's not us. So we're looking for
to
the
be
next
determined.
show.
You're
Yeah.
looking for your next show.
So if anybody's looking for some strange space sounds, give us a call.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the things we
can
want to
put that
do
on.
is get into soundtracks.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that.
Well,
Yeah.
if friend of the show, Dewey Tron, is listening, he is.
We gotta get him to make a move. Well, actually,
he makes amazing movies and
but
great
again,
cinematographer and all kinds
with
of
the
stuff.
strike and all that, proletariat
I don't know if
unite
he's
eventually.
doing- I don't know what he's doing right now.
But
We're not
independent.
We are not
Yeah, independent.
crossing the picket line.
Exactly.
We're not doing because
But
we,
yeah.
we both work for unions. So
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I love
We
it.
are, we
There
are,
we go. I love
we
it.
are here.
That's my favorite word.
We are here
Union.
wishing to be part of SAG-AFTRA right now.
Good God. Yeah, exactly.
Or the writers.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't write anything.
I don't write anything.
I don't think he gets to be in the Writers Guild.
I'm on strike.
You
No strike. I'm saying, what the hell? I read what we're not allowed to do.
What? Brian's on strike too. I gotta do the sound effects for him.
Is that a day off next week? I'm always asking for days off of the show.
You don't even do anything.
I know. Exactly. I'm always asking for a day off.
All right, so let's say somebody wanted to start doing modular music. What's like the baseline bit of gear they got to get?
I would suggest like a semi-modular synthesizer. So semi-modular is this doesn't have. Can you grab one of your pieces? Yeah. So semi-modular, you don't necessarily have to plug in any wires and it'll make a sound. Where like the high-end gear, you plug it, you sort of can make it make any sound. But if it's not plugged in, you won't get anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, this is like the
Yes.
stylophone.
Yeah, kind of. So this is by Korg. They've made synthesizers for a long time.
Long time.
But this is a series of synthesizers known as the Volca series. And I think it's been out since like 2012. And what it is they've kind of made these little sound boxes that are, they're affordable. They're under $200. And there's different kinds. There's a drum machine. There's sort of a more conventional synthesizer, so you could do like 80s type keyboard sounds. But this one I got is the Korg Volca Modular. And as you see, it just makes...
And see, there he goes. He's off to the races.
Yeah.
So there it is. Look,
But
there it is.
basically, it's patched up to make that sort of weird high-pitched sound.
I get it. All right, so then we start with something, and you just start wiggling knobs and doing stuff and making noise, and then you go, all right, that's music.
Yeah, it's a science.
I mean,
Or
if you
can
like
just
it.
do weird stuff, because this is what we do. And what's the thing is, it can be anything. And when you, especially with modular, because you can make your equipment sound any kind of way you want, you get people to do all kinds of things with it. They even have another version where it's with video signals. So
Okay.
So you could be sort of doing.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Right. So video signals in almost like I guess in having
so
a
that-
visual representation.
Yeah.
And there are concerts that you can see where, the musicians, they'll have somebody doing custom video for them, and it'll be live.
And they're sort of
Yeah, I've
mixing
seen
it.
that.
So, but around because I have like a lot of I haven't like purchased any music gear in probably like 15, 20.
Yeah.
There was a time where it was like I'd be in Atomic or Guitar Center or Chuck Levin's all the time. But is there where online? Because I remember there used to be like a lot of like magazines for kids out there. Don't remember?
Yeah.
There used to be magazines.
order stuff
But
out
like,
the back
or
of
just
the
like,
magazine.
or like learning about gear. Like for me, like I remember Scratch Magazine was something that talked a lot about like, all right, the different gear folks were using to like create different hip hop music. Like, where is that community online? Like, does that still happen, or
Oh,
is it
yeah.
that?
Are they on Blue Sky?
Oh, Well, a lot of it.
Do we have to get on the threads or the Twitters?
No, they're on Facebook.
They're on Facebook,
Of
course.
I actually think Instagram's a good.
That is-
Yeah,
Is it
Instagram's
really?
a good source. Yeah.
And then there's like online magazines. One of them, just off the top of my head, is Waveform magazine. And then if you know a lot of the companies, like Moog, famous company, they were actually one of the first ones and one of the best ones. A lot of the big famous companies. But then because these are like, you can have the big famous companies, but it can also be some guy in his basement making them one off. And yeah. So if you know how to do electronics and you have your soldering iron and you know what you're doing, you can go for it. They have kits that they can sell, and so so you join this community. And I remember they all have classes, or you go to meet up and they all have people bring their synths, so you get to play with others.
That's dope.
Yeah, because of course everybody wants to show off I said.
It's a pretty welcoming group, I would imagine, right? Hey,
Yes.
you want to try this one? No, I made this. You want to give it a go? Like it's a probably makes sense. All right, so let's say somebody wants to get interested in this and they want to follow along and they want to like follow you and follow the music and come to your next show or even just try it out for themselves. Where should they go to follow you?
Instagram and the Pseudoscientists for us.
Can you spell that for?
Oh yeah,
me?
because it's but so Instagram at THEPSEU. You would think it would go the other way.
You would
around.
think
I
it
know,
would go
right?
the other
It
way.
does not.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
DOSCINTISTS. See, I can spell.
There you go, and we've got it up if you're looking on the video.
Yes.
Yeah.
See it right there.
There it is.
So, and where else can they follow like the modular collectives and all that stuff?
DC Modular Collective.
And Modular on the Mall.
There you go. That's the show, right?
Yep.
And they've got another one coming up in September.
Yes.
All right. And who's going to be there? Do you know, or they haven't?
We have
released
no
the
idea.
lineup yet. Are
They
you
have not
hoping to
released
be
it.
there?
If we're asked to come back, we will be happy to
Oh,
come back.
we'll probably.
Who do I talk to?
Yeah.
I want. Who do we call?
We want you to get in, so you get us in.
I did not say. God, this is such a self-involved show. Every fucking week. Every fucking week.
What else
That's
should
not-
we do?
It's always shilling for something.
Yeah, I want to get into the show and have a good time. And like,
Do they charge for this show?
That one was free.
No, it's free. It's
free.
Modular on the Mall.
I want recognition. I want to go to the VIP section.
So it doesn't even cost anything.
I
You
just want to
eat.
hang out and listen to the weird space sounds.
God, it's I don't know. It's just
All
becoming.
right, I'm coming to the
I mean,
show.
your name is on the show, so I get why this is a self-involved show. It's called Chip Chat for a
Who
reason.
cares? Like,
Keep interrupting.
see, that was you
That's
this
for
time.
me this time.
Not
Yeah, I
me.
know. Shit, that's the first time I got it.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all want to mix some more stuff?
Sure do.
Are you ready to hit the next break?
Yeah.
All right.
so.
Go ahead back to your stations. We will.
Tez Talks are sad, so if you have sad stuff.
We will. Yeah. we will stall for time while you get ready.
Yeah, well.
Because they're just getting warmed up. They gotta soak their reeds.
Plus, we got an hour and a half show left to go.
And they got to tune their.
What the fuck, yo? God damn! God!
That was Brian in the background.
Yo, the way he looked over, his eyes peered over his laptop, and I had to look away because it was like fire. It was shooting out of this. You know when everybody's putting those what's the name, the beams in their eyes on that's
yeah.
what I saw in his eyes.
All right, so while Cyclops gets a break from roasting Tez with his eyeballs,
Logan.
we're going to go to our guest, the Pseudoscientists. We're going to take a break. You are listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
All right, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I am your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's poppin', y'all?
All right, that music was by our guest, the Pseudoscientists. Thank you for that, fellas. Keep it going. All right, so now we've come to the Tez Talk.
Yes.
Now, normally, this is where Tez tells
One
us
sad-ass
something
topic.
sad about dead birds.
Yeah, usually. Most of the time.
Hit it.
Look at these dead-ass birds.
Right. But this
Such a
week,
great
we're
joke.
going to try.
We're going to do 3 Tez
We're
Talks.
going to do 3 Tez Talks
5
in
minutes.
rapid succession.
All right.
Ready? Go.
All right. First, I thought we were going to have a breakthrough in holding the police accountable.
Is that one?
No,
Oh,
this is it.
okay.
I thought we were going to have a breakthrough of holding police accountable. You know why?
Why?
Because they shot a dog.
Yeah.
They shot a
They
dog
did
in North
that
Carolina.
In Berwyn Heights, like 10 years ago, they shot 2 dogs who belonged to the mayor.
I thought that's what would change everything.
But it didn't.
But then I read the headline.
They were black dogs.
Exactly. This is it. And I just want to get to it. Just get to I just want to get to this piece here.
Owners.
Exactly. Quote, a black dog came out from behind the home
Oh,
barking
Jesus.
aggressively
I
and
guessed it,
charged
but-
at the officer.
Oh, my
A
God.
news release said Monday. The officer backed up as the dog continued to charge and shot the dog 4 times. The dog was about 5 to 7 feet away from the officer when it was shot.
It was
So,
a black dog and it was aggressive.
yeah.
You know, the golden doodle was just playful.
Yeah, of course. Exactly.
Just saying.
Yeah, just saying. Just saying.
Just saying.
All right.
That's one.
That's
Go.
one. Yo, I mentioned RFK Jr. Earlier. You know he's running for president
It's
because
the mini stadium.
he's the mini state. He's the mini
It's a
state.
smaller
Small, yeah.
stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A life-size model.
He doesn't bounce as much.
Not exactly.
That's right.
Yo, they had a press dinner, and
His campaign
his campaign had a press dinner.
still has a
and
campaign.
folks got into a war of words over climate change because people were saying like they didn't believe it, and then they just started farting.
Wait, what?
I look it up. Look it up because I got more stories to get to. I got more stories
Remember
to
when
get
he
to.
made fun of me for poop jokes?
Yeah, I know. I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna go. I'm going with
They
it.
started farting.
Like yeah, during how
like
long?
on command.
Let me see if I can keep it. Let me see if I can keep it within the 5 minutes to
I
find
don't
the quote.
understand.
I'm on page.
Is RFK Jr. anti-climate change?
I mean, yeah, because he's. This is how they're gonna go ahead and block the sun and its rays with gas. Page
What?
6. Right, page 6 had this. Hold on.
You know it's legit then.
No, look. I mean, they
It's a
were there.
Murdoch paper.
No. This is they said. I wish I could find the exact comment. But the quote here from one of the individuals in this in this back and forth said, "Quote: I apologize for using my flatulence as a medium of public commentary in your presence." End quote. Yeah, but people were upset and they started farting at each other.
Okay. That's 2.
That's 2. Can I fit 4? No, the last one here.
Depends how hard you fart.
Exactly right. The last one is the DC Council obviously passed the bill. I guess it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Emergency bill around crime. You know,
It was part of the same
Same
overhaul
call.
that didn't pass because Congress was like, it's not mean enough.
so then they said, let's make it a
We're
little
going to
bit
make it meaner.
Make it a little bit meaner. It almost went unanimous. Shout out to Janice.
Yeah, 1.
Janice in my ward, Ward 4, said no.
Because statistically, it
Yes,
didn't make
'cause-
sense.
Yeah, exactly.
It probably isn't going to hurt a lot of things either. This is
Yeah.
sort of like a
I do think we're at
publicity
I
stunt.
do think we're at an inflection point where I'm always when I talk to folks, people hit me with soft on crime. I was out with friends the other day. They called me a flaming liberal, and I smiled.
What? Right. Yeah. Goddamn right.
But I
Well,
think
we have to worry about the black on black crime and the dangerous black criminals
exactly
in the black neighborhoods of DC, of which there are, I hear now, 3.
yeah exactly. But
Moving up.
But I do think we're at there's an inflection point where I see what happens. Yes, like in most cities after the pandemic, there's been an increase in crime. I'm not blind to that. If people shoot off automatic weapons in broad daylight, they probably should go to jail. They should probably serve time. I agree with that. I do.
Right.
I do think, though, that we are in a crucial area where we're going to repeat the same mistakes of the past. And instead of providing resources to under-resourced communities, because usually resource communities, they don't have these issues, instead of forcing different areas in the city to commit to affordable housing and to break away from the segregated neighborhoods that we have in the city, when we move away from that and we say, hey, I'm afraid, and I get it, I've spoken to a lot of...
How much is it going to cost? And how much of that, if we made it into universal basic income, would alleviate this crime? Because how much of crime is based on poverty?
Yeah, or I would also think, like, looking to individuals who are victims of crime. I mean, like, people are returning citizens sometimes are the individuals who are
victims of crime.
Yeah.
You know what would make this a lot easier and a lot better for the district to deal with their crime problem? Because I know there are a lot of people in Congress, specifically on the right, who are like, DC is a crime-ridden cesspool. We need to micromanage the shit out of what they're doing. DC is a crime-ridden city.
Yeah. That's what's being said.
You know what would fix that? Statehood. Because right now, every single crime charged in the District of Columbia has to go to the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. And 90-some-odd% of them get pled out, get turned down. They don't have the resources. The federal government that has enough money to spend $40 million per Patriot missile, per shot, does not have the resources necessary to prosecute gun crime in this District of Columbia.
Yeah, it's simple and plain. But then they also say that same department is soft on crime. I mean, like...
You know what would fix it? Statehood.
Yeah.
Statehood. Jim Jordan, you want D.C. to be a safe place for you to come work in? Like you parading around in your stupid fake committee? Statehood. Then you've got somebody you can hold accountable. Right now, the only person we can hold accountable is the 435 elected members of the House of Representatives because they control the District of Columbia. It's not Mayor Bowser, it's not the council, and it's not the voters.
No.
700,000 disenfranchised people in that city because of lack of statehood. Fix it.
Yeah, it's simple and plain. I do think, though, we're going to see that a lot of people are going to end up getting locked up. And I've seen this. This will be the third time, I guess.
Where are they going to lock them up? They close Lorton.
Well, they'll ship again.
Leavenworth.
They're gonna
New
ship,
Mexico.
They're gonna ship these folks out, and again, we'll look back 20, 30 years from now, we'll be having the same issues when it's 140 fucking degrees outside. And again, I've seen it. It happened in the 90s. It happened probably going in 2000,
this is
2001.
The second time in our lifetime.
Yeah, exactly.
This cycle repeated.
Yeah, so I do think locking up a bunch of these juveniles, removing them from the system, removing them from society and putting them in the system. Again, I'm not saying that we should let criminals run free and shoot up. And again, what's really interesting is the people who've connected on this. A lot of elderly black folk in the city are very afraid. I've spoken, they're afraid. I think the business owners also too. They see the economic impact that it has.
I get it.
If you can't leave your bar and people feel safe, But again, these same issues are going to reoccur again because we don't want to address the root cause.
Same problem.
There you go.
That's Brian. Brian hit the bell. So he got all three in 5 minutes?
Kind of. That was
Kind of.
It's like 10
You know
minutes.
what Brian would do to solve crime in D.C.?
Shut up.
Keep the kids off the damn metro.
No, he wants them to pay.
He wants to make them pay, or not let them on at all. Make them jump higher.
I told you, add revenue off the people who failed jumping over
Right.
it. Make a YouTube
Great
channel,
idea.
Metro. I'm telling you. It's simple. It's simple and plain.
All right,
I'm telling you, it's easy.
Now we've come to a part of the show called International Rundown. This
we
is
don't
where I
have
tell
time
you about
for.
some stuff that's going on internationally. The first one is in Turkey, which sounds great for a sandwich, but is also a country. Did you know that?
I did, yeah.
They are in NATO. Did you know that too?
Hell yeah. And they want to be in the
They want to be in the EU, despite wanting to not also be in Europe.
Crazy. Weirdo.
So you may remember that Russia invaded Ukraine. Desmond Howard was very clear about that.
Yes.
And so we have this problem that it scared two countries into joining NATO.
Sweden, right?
Sweden and Finland. And they had been forever not in NATO, neutral.
Living their lives.
Yeah.
Because no one thought there'd be a land war in Europe.
Yeah, and also, like, they had kind of carved out this weird in-between space, right?
Yeah.
Finland's got a border with Russia, so they were like, shit, we
let's
better
be
join
easy.
up.
Yeah,
We need some help,
Yeah.
right? We want some Canadians in case some stuff goes sideways. Because Canadians are free soldiers, because, they're made of maple syrup. So...
This fucking guy.
But the Swedes were like, yo, we want in too, right? And the rest of NATO was like, yeah, we definitely want Sweden in. They've got this kick-ass Navy. They have all these really cool airplanes and stuff. Yeah. And they know how to, like, live on the ice and fight in the snow. That would be pretty helpful in case we got to go fight Russia. Plus, they got those dolphins, which is all true.
All true.
And so the rest of NATO was like, yeah, definitely let them in. Except for one guy.
Yeah, Turkey had beef.
That's hilarious. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who has to always be said by all three names.
I think his name is fucking awesome.
It's a great
really
name.
a fucking awesome name.
It's not spelled that way.
It's not spelled that.
But it's Recep Tayyip Erdogan.
Yeah.
It's not how it's spelled, but that's his name. He was like, no, I don't want Sweden in. I have a lot of personal and ethical and moral objections to their inclusion.
Are there a lot of journalists in a lot of journalists?
So a guy who routinely jails journalists is an autocrat and fake won several elections in a row.
Came in on an earthquake and stayed with an earthquake. I think it's kind of crazy.
Now.
3 earthquakes.
Yeah. And often buddies up to the Russians or whatever, but sometimes plays negotiator or whatever. So the guy was like, look, we got some serious ethical qualms about these Viking-ass Swedes joining NATO because they're racist and they hate Muslims and they have a bit in their constitution that says that they can say whatever they want.
Don't like that.
They don't like that. So Sweden was like, all right, you know what? We stand by these values and have for the last 400 years. But we are so deathly afraid of the goddamn Soviets that we want to join NATO. We will amend our entire constitution. We will pass all kinds of laws that we don't actually want to go down
just to get up in the club.
But we just want to get in. We will give you and do whatever you need to meet your moral qualms, Mr. Erdogan. And then he's like, nah, I still don't like them. They're blonde or whatever. So we're coming to the summit, right?
Yeah.
All the NATO members are going to meet in
Biden's
Vilnius.
in the air.
Yeah, they're meeting in Vilnius, 30 miles from the Russian border.
Yeah.
Bold move. And on the way, Recep Tayyip Erdogan has a change of heart. And I can think of not F-16 reasons why he may have changed his mind on this. But all of a sudden, Sweden has met the moral obligations, has stopped offending him on a personal and religious level, and they are welcomed into the community. Got any idea what airplane could have delivered that idea?
Air Force One.
Nope.
No, I mean, it starts there.
Yeah.
It started. The man on that plane.
Biden let him buy the F-16s. That's what happened. And all of a sudden, morality doesn't matter as long as you got fighter jets.
Yeah, come on now.
Give Ukraine fighter jets. All right. Finally, we got to talk about my cousins. Well, it's not finally, but...
I don't know. It might be when the music starts playing.
Brian's going to kick us out of here. Okay. I want to stipulate something important. Yeah. It is okay to have a problem with the elected government of the state of Israel.
Yes, that's a great point to start with.
It is okay to have a problem with Benjamin Netanyahu and his policies, it is okay to be uncomfortable with the right-wing, authoritarian, fascist behavior of the current Israeli government.
Like folks like Ben Gvir, right?
Without having any problem with the Jewish people.
Exactly. There's a way we can have these conversations.
You want to watch me do it?
There
I'm
it
Jewish.
goes. There it is.
Fuck you, BB.
Yeah.
You're a problem. You're not. This is undemocratic. Everything he's doing is wrong. He should not be in charge. This is a big deal. So
Only way you get mad power, though, right?
Here's what happened. The guy barely wins an election. Israel is having difficult time forming a government. Everything goes sideways. He gets this narrow coalition full of completely crazy, racist, fundamentalist, Jewish Taliban types. They're our equivalent of the Taliban. And I know I'm not supposed to air this stuff out in front of the Goyim, but I gotta explain this because we've crossed a line here. These guys want an ethno-state. They do not want to abide by any of the agreements that they've already made, and they are willing to commit acts of violence to perpetuate and move the ball forward so long as they get what they want, which they think is entitled to them based on some biblical reading. It's pretty garbage, to be honest. It does not meet the basic test of governance at all. So Netanyahu, who is desperate to stay in power to avoid prosecution because he's guilty 6 ways from Sunday, except in Israel it's guilty 6 ways from Saturday, of course. And he's like, I just got to stay in power. Whatever you guys want, I'll give you. And so they go, well, we want to get rid of the judicial system. He's like, done deal.
Get it out of here.
Yeah, get it out of here. What do these judges know anyway? So he goes about doing it. Well, the country erupts in protest, strikes all around, airports are shut down, and the thing that kicked it was the reserve pilots. Everybody in Israel, except the ultra-Orthodox, for some reason, serves in the military. All the men serve for 3 years, all the women serve for 2 years. My cousins served all of their years. Some of them became, brigadier general tank commanders on their off time, right?
Shout out to my child's Hebrew teacher, Mr. Sammy. He served.
They all have regular jobs,
yes,
and then are also tank commanders.
Yeah.
Okay. So the pilots were like, yo, we don't feel like flying these F-16s at our next training mission unless you pull this law back. That was a big deal because Israel's in a hostile neighborhood, let's say. Basically, all their neighbors want to kill them, and they need their army and their air force to work to, like...
I thought Jared smoothed that over.
Oh, I thought so, eh? 2 billion reasons why a bone saw doesn't cut it. So, at some point, the pilots were like, no dice. We're not doing it, and that was enough. They pulled the law back. But they didn't mean it. So then... here we are 6 weeks later. Bibi's like, hey, how about that thing that I tried to do that caused the country to shut down? And everybody's like, oh, we're definitely going to make it shut down again. He's like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. So what's happening in Israel right now? Shut down. The airport is shut. The people are in the streets, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people protesting. And what has been the response of the government? They're running them over with horses. They're turning water cannons on. They're smashing the people. They're arresting them by the dozens, thousands. This does not look good. This can't be us. Guys, the people running this country are a bit older than me, but they are within 2 generations of the worst disaster perpetrated against the Jewish people in our 5,000-year-long history.
And there's been a lot of bad things.
We've had
guys.
a lot of
them, yo. There's
a lot.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. 1492 of them. Okay? Like, it's bad. But we can't be them. And what Netanyahu and his right-wing government are doing right now, it looks a little like some other governments who did things to us. And I don't like that. And I don't like having to explain that.
Must suck.
It's bad. So fucking knock it off, eh? All right, moving on. This one is called This Is Stupid. Michigan, my favorite state that isn't Virginia.
What?
Michigan Republicans, they had a bit of a scuffle.
Were they farting too?
Nope. Kicking each other in the balls.
Ah!
Yep. They all got in a fight. They
This
had a
was
big
crazy,
retreat,
actually.
And there's a video of it.
Yeah.
And they're all like, I'll kick your ass, and you did this, and blah, blah, blah. These two guys kicked each other in the balls. Fantastic. Interesting to note, Republicans have balls. Did not know that. Speaking of which, Tommy Tuberville.
The ballest of them all.
Tommy Tuberville, who explained that he has, quote, dealt with more minorities than anybody on this hill.
Well, all right, be specific on what you mean. What do you mean?
He said dealt with.
Dealt with?
That's the words he
Okay.
chose. He likes to say these words over and over again, which I think is sort of like one of those nervous tics that I don't think he knows what it means.
Yeah.
Quote, listen, I'm totally against racism. And if the Democrats want to say white nationalists are racist, I'm totally against that too. My definition is racism is bad.
What?
So here's what happened.
What?
Back in May, somebody was like, hey, should we kick white nationalists out of the military? And Tommy Tuberville was like, well, I don't know. I mean, it seems like they like this country. And the reporter was like...
It's like Twitter's policy.
Yeah. And the reporter was like, wait, but white nationalists want this only to be a white country and they don't want anybody else to be here. And he said, sounds like Trump Republicans to me. And everybody was like, whoa, wait, did you just say the thing? And he was like, yeah. And they're like, we know you're from Alabama, so we're not sure if you mean that. We're going to give it a few weeks and see if you still mean that. So a few weeks go by, and they go, we want to get the white nationalists out of the military. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. What's so bad about white nationalists? And everybody's like, well, they're racist. And he goes, are they, though? And they're like, yeah, like explicitly, by definition, racist. They think that they are better than everybody else. And he goes, I don't know. I just think they have a lot of different beliefs.
They do.
They do. That they are better than everybody else. And that's racist.
Yeah, I probably should go to a different water fountain.
So it took, right. It took like 5 or 6 iterations, including former Daily Caller reporter Caitlin Collins, nailing him down on CNN to be like, yo, these guys are racists. And he's like, all right, I guess fine, they're racist, but I still like them.
I think his bigger issue here is what he's doing in the Senate to block the senior military.
Yeah, that's exactly why he's relevant, and that's why everybody needs to know. Tommy Tuberville is a racist.
Yeah, and he's made us less safe.
Yes, very much so. All right, this last one is called This Is Stupid. There's a judge in New Jersey. His TikTok name is...
Wait, why do judges... Never mind.
He has a TikTok.
Never mind.
His real name is Gary Wilcox. He has these videos. He has some, like, Sal Corleone or whatever is his TikTok name. He has videos of him in his robe through the courthouse, like, lip-syncing to Nas and Jay-Z and Busta Rhymes and, like, Rihanna and a bunch of other stuff.
Okay.
It got kind of popular and everybody likes it. Except for the New Jersey court review system. Somebody filed a complaint against Judge Wilcox's decision to post TikTok videos, said that it, quote, showed, quote, poor judgment and demonstrated disrespect for the judiciary and an inability to conform to the high standards of conduct expected of judges. The case, which will likely involve free speech arguments, was filed a day after the New Jersey Supreme Court issued a potentially precedent-setting decision related to privacy protections when using social media. The court ruled that the police needed to prove more than basic probable cause to continuously monitor Facebook to investigate crimes, including the surveillance, if surveillance was, quote, the functional equivalent of tapping someone's phone. So they can't just watch your Facebook. But if you're a judge and you happen to like Nas, apparently you got to get tossed off the bench.
My favorite quote was, you think you can run up on me and whip my monkey ass? Come on, come on. We live.
Right. Sal Tortorella. There
Sal
you go.
Tortorella.
That was his alias.
Look, I don't.
What's the problem here? The guy likes good music? I thought we were past it. I thought all the white people in charge were like into like classic hip hop.
Yeah, I thought we transcended. Okay.
The bumps on NPR are no longer jazz. They're bits of 90s hip hop.
They
That's
are.
how you know that is safe and non-confrontational.
To some.
To some. Apparently not New Jersey. Where it is still legal to get married at 13 to your cousin. Way to go, New Jersey. Yeah. All right. Now we've come
I'm
to the end of
yucking
the
your
show.
yum if that's what you're doing.
That's
Fuck
exactly.
that. Yuck.
Yes. Yeah. Don't-
Sorry.
Yeah. No. That's
Nah, I feel good. I feel comfortable on that one. Be like,
That's
yuck.
how you know you're a dad. Oh, yuck, you're young. All right. You hear that music, which means we've come to the end of the show.
Yes.
We want to say thank you to the Pseudoscientists for wearing their lab coats and making us feel so safe and all of these great sounds. Thank you to our radio partners, Radio Rahim, Radioactive, and Radio Free Europe. Thanks to our digital media meatball, Isaac Elam. Thanks to our home on the interwebs, CoPlayMedia.com. Thanks to NOTN, if they're still around, who knows. And thanks, as always, to our family here at Beltway Radio for making us sound as smooth as Swedish meatballs in Ankara. All right, where can everybody get you on the socials?
You can find me at DZ Cortez on Blue Sky, and, you know, they're having their issues right now because I guess someone made their handle and then they go hoop.
All right, you can find me in the show on Twitter at RibChipChat, and you can find us on Facebook or Instagram at ChipChatR. No, wait. Twitter's ChipChatR, and you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at RibChipChat, and you can find us now on Threads at RibChipChat.
Oh, God.
Yes, and you can find me on the Blue Sky at Chef Chip. I got my handle back. Haha, Ted Cruz. And you can find us most Thursday nights here on Beltway Radio and beyond. I'm Chip. That says that's the Pseudoscientist. That's Brian. You've been listening to Chip Chat.